This meeting is being recorded.
All right, welcome everyone. Today is Wednesday, the 1st of November, 2023, and this is the APIServer Network Proxy meeting. This is a subproject of SIG Cloud Provider and SIG API Machinery, and as such, we follow the Kubernetes, meeting guidelines. It's just me and Joseph today, so please, Joseph, go ahead.
Yeah, great. Let me try to present my screen. All right.
Yeah, perfect.
I just have one burning issue I wanted to point out. There are a couple of pull requests that are blocked on merge. I think both of these are failing for the same reason that's unrelated to the changes. So just picking an example, we've got these build, basically pre-submit checks deterministically failing. And if I look at one of them, it talks about no builder, image builder. What this is there's some multi-arch support in the network proxy repo that I think has had a recent regression, because there's been successful merged PRs and successful tests run pretty recently. Like I think this is only in the last week and a half or so time frame, but it's this Docker buildx build. So I just wanted to highlight this, that it's blocking PRs because tests are all failing on this. So I know it's just you and me, but if there's anybody who understands multi-arch that could take a look. I'm not really an expert myself on this. Oh, I can't hear you. My audio.
Sorry, I was muted. So I have done a little bit of multi-arch work with Docker. I guess the question is, well, because it sounds like we probably have to update the Docker file or some, like the make file or something there. I can try and replicate this locally just to see if I can get the same problem going.
Well, I mean, locally, like on my workstation, it runs as before. You know what I suspect is, I think these run in some prow environment somewhere on some shared test infrastructure. And I remember a recent PR that somebody notified us about, that like, heads up, we're going to move the test, like we're going to move the prow instances from GCE to a non-GCE cloud provider. I wonder if it could be related to that.
Yeah, I mean, possible. I'd have to get in there and dig around a little bit to kind of, I guess, figure out more. Do you want to show Walter real quick since he's here? Hey, Walter.
Hey, Walter.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, pretty good. I was just raising, like, there's a sort of one smoldering issue in the repository. All of our tests have begun failing pretty recently, like about a week and a half ago, and it's failing on the multi-arch build. So I remember that there was a recent test infrastructure change, I think, where some folks notified us, and I think we even approved it. Walter, you remember this, right?
Yeah, no, I totally remember this, and in fact, I suspect that just that the URL for or URI for those images is now wrong.
I thought it might be failing on some like lack of support for build X. I'm not sure though.
Well, I mean, if we look at that error that you were just looking at, I'm just noticing invalid reference format and then invalid tag gcr.io.
Oh, is this the error? Oh, maybe.
I'm wondering.
Oh, you know what? So do you think that this is a red herring and it's this error, but then there's an or create, and that's as expected, and this is the real error?
That's my suspicion. We'd have to verify, but we're going to have to fix 25, I think, no matter what.
Yeah, you're right. I just wasn't even reading it fully. There's no repo name in this container image. It's empty. Interesting. Okay, so maybe it is a bug in our own repo. We'll have to take a look.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to look at like kind of the make file or something. Like, is there some substitution that's supposed to be happening that isn't? So we're ending up with like an empty string or something there, or something crazy like that.
I didn't see any like recent change to the make file, which is why I thought it was the other testing for a change.
I'm wondering if it's still something to do with that test in for a change, like if it's relying on us having built it previously somewhere else and it's pulling in and we're just trying to pull in from the wrong place now.
I see. Okay.
Well, I think there's something else to keep in mind. There's something else to look at here too. And I've seen this in other repos, but Joseph, let me take over the screen share for a second.
Yeah, please.
It looks like we have a gcloud command that is coming out in the in our makefile. So I wonder if there's some possibility that, like, is this command, is this registry value getting used later, and so like this shell command is actually failing to pull a good value from gcloud there?
Wouldn't be surprised if we're no longer running this where in a
right, because if we look at how the registry, how the images are made, it's like GCR / and then this command that doesn't do anything, and so returns an error, and then we're using it right here, and then we have / server image name. I'm just wondering if maybe that's part of the issue we're hitting.
Yeah, so we need to replace that gcloud default and maybe make it a required parameter or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think the reason we had, and I'm with you, I think the reason we had $equals is that's supposed to be, I mean, maybe not for the robot, but it's supposed to allow the someone else who's doing this to be able to set the registry, and then we won't override with that gcloud command. So, I mean, if you do a blame, it'll be me. And that was just, that was a convenience method for me to have it automatically set up for me correctly, but still allow other people to initially set an override. And I guess it's just persisted to this point.
Right. I mean, I've seen this exact same thing in other makefiles, like where we're using like a gcloud command or something like that. I mean, it seems like we just need to change that registry to what we normally want it to default to. And then, yeah, like if a user needs to, they can override it or something.
Yeah. 100%.
Okay, and then I did have another minor just point. I recently, to pick up some CVE fixes only, I released a 0.28.1 tag. So just a heads up.
That's awesome. I mean, yesterday was code freeze. For KK. I don't suppose we managed to fold it in yesterday.
I did not send the KK because I didn't. There's a time delay. You got to promote the images. This is like a pretty recent tag.
No, that's fair. Well, it just means it'll be a little while before we can land it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But those are my only agenda items. So we could possibly get time back unless either of you has anything you want to bring up.
Nothing for me. How about you, Walter?
I'm just curious. Cloud provider. Did we end up saying that cloud provider KubeCon talk was going to be network proxy?
Yes, Joseph and I are delivering that on Tuesday.
Yep.
So obviously I don't want you to spoil it on YouTube, but can I get at least a taster?
Well, we're recording this, so if you want to go off,
I know that's why we could go off the record. If you guys want to.
Well, we're gonna. Joseph and I are planning to get together to practice tomorrow too, in the afternoon. If you wanted, we could add you to the invite there, and if you wanted to come by and just check out what we're talking about.
Yeah,
that sounds great. Joseph may have at some point peeked at my calendar.
Okay,
my calendar is horrendous.
All right, why don't we do this? Why don't we stop the recording here? We can end the meeting, and then we can have a little chat about what's coming up for the material next week.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, cool. So.